Hi everybody, my name is Lana Elko and I lead Breathwork workshops here in Salt Lake City area. I decided to make this video because it's a great tool. Video is a great tool to connect and energetically connect and feel another person, and it's also easier to share my story, why I'm so passionate about breathwork and what I offer in my workshops. So I moved here a few months ago from Santa Cruz, California, where I have been leading breathwork workshops since 2014. And I spent all these years studying transpersonal psychology. I got certified with growth transpersonal training, which is holotropic breathwork. Probably you heard about it. If not, you can Google and read more about it. And Stanislav Grof is MD and author, and he was one of the founders of transpersonal psychology. He and his wife Christina created holotropic breathwork. So this modality is becoming bigger and bigger, very powerful. This is how I started. This is how I was introduced to breathwork. And I share a little bit my own personal story with you. So you can Google it if you don't know, and he wrote about 15 books about human consciousness and breathwork and this kind of work, expanded states of consciousness. So let me share a little bit of my own story and why I became so passionate about breathwork. Originally I'm from Ukraine, if you can hear my accent probably. I started my personal journey with breathwork several years ago. Probably started uh, about 7 years ago. I had this crisis in my life where everything started to fall apart. And I really had a great life. I couldn't complain at all. I had great life. I had successful business, everything I needed, nice house, great friends. I was traveling around the world, really visited many countries. So there was nothing to complain about. But at some point, I felt like all my needs are met. I'm really having a good time, but I felt like there is something more for me to do here in this world. So it was kind of spiritual crisis. This is how it started. And then all areas of my life started to fall apart. Of course, against my will, because nobody likes when good things start to fall apart, right? We kind of lose the ground. So my business fell apart because of economical and political crisis in my country. My relationships started to fall apart. I didn't know where exactly I'm supposed to live. I was kind of, in this limbo position. So that was really hard to go through, and I had a little baby at the time, so it was a very challenging time, and I felt lost and confused, and I didn't know what's my next step. I felt really stuck. So somebody, actually my good friend who is a therapist in Ukraine, Kiev, she recommended me to try holotropic breathwork at the time. She said, just go and try it. There is no way I can explain it to you what it is. So I trusted her. She's a good friend of mine, and I just joined this holotropic breathwork workshop. I didn't know much about it at the time, and just decided to dive in. And what happened, actually, it truly blew my mind, because I had no expectations, and I didn't expect much. I thought, oh, maybe it's like pranayama, because I did yoga. I've been doing yoga for years and years and years, and pranayama is a part of the yoga practice. So I didn't expect what can happen, right? And I didn't have any expectations. But even if I had expectations, what happened in the very first session, breathwork session, it's more than 100 more than I could ever imagine or expect. It absolutely blew my mind. What can happen with just using your breath, using simple breathwork technique with certain, set and setting of the workshop. It absolutely blew my mind. So what happened, I could process completely all my personal stuff, and actually it looked really small. and it happened within like an hour. And it looks really small in comparison of what actually opened up in a screen, in my experience. So I was shown um, the origins of our civilization, the collective process of the evolution on our planet, all the energies which are involved, all this, layers and layers of energetic material that we have been processing as a human species for thousands of years, and even more than that. I don't even go for it. Was even more than that, like seeing the universal scale of you know of everything, basically. So and then another piece of that work, that I could process all these transformational energies in my body. So I could literally process them in my body through movement and breath, and I was completely exhausted at the end, but I felt like I'm a conduit for all these transformational energies, and it completely changed me within 3 hours of this session. It completely transformed me and brought me back to who I am, why I'm here on this planet, what I'm supposed to do. It's not just in the level on the of the mental level of like information, what's the plan, right? But it's on the energetic level. I felt transformed, I felt empowered, and I felt like I know what my life path is about. So it was deep psycho-energetic transformation. So after that I made, it took me a while to process that experience, and after that I made major changes in my life. The fact that I'm here now doing this work, it was it started within these 3 hours. It was the result of these 3 hours of my inner work with my breath. So that is how powerful it can be. And then since then, I moved to California. After that I decided that's my path. I want to learn everything about it, use this powerful transformational tool and share it with the world. So I joined growth transpersonal training. I went to all the events, didn't miss any, like within 2 years, got certified with them. And then I developed my own modality, which is a bit more, it's shorter and it's more accessible, and for people who just starting. So it's just 3 hour workshop, 3 hour, 1 hour breath, but kind of similar to holotropic, but more easier to try. It's more affordable, and it's also shorter, so you can, if you're like not sure you want to commit to the whole 1 day intensive, which is holotropic breathwork, usually it's 1 day. So this is perfect modality, and I've been doing it in Santa Cruz, California. It was very popular there, so the community was growing, and I'm committed to do the same thing here. So far we had 3 workshops already. One of them actually was a longer modality, so I would do both. And I had great feedback about that. And my friend David, who I met through this training, growth transpersonal training, actually built a studio, a private studio for this healing work, for this transformational work. So this is, and he put his heart there, absolutely. So people who step into the studio, they just feel already affected, and they feel they're going to the process already. The sound is absolutely amazing because we use music for this process, and the space is sacred. So it's a bit of drive. It's in Coppertown on Bingham Valley, so it's a bit outskirts of Salt Lake, but it's totally worth driving. It might take you half an hour to drive there, but I promise you, you will not regret to drive there and to try breathwork there. So let me share with you who can benefit from this. When is the right time to try that? So obviously, if you feel stuck in your life, if you can't break through, that you're fed up with your old stories, maybe you have certain like patterns that repeat in your life and you feel fed up with them, you want to like break through, free yourself, this is perfect time to do this, to try breathwork. If you feel you have challenges like in your relationship, in your career, if you feel uncertain about things and you want to gain insight, that's a good time to do this. If you feel there is lots of like unresolved energies and you want to heal something from the past that you can't access on your own, or even like through talking therapy, we can't access certain subconscious material in our psyche, this is a great tool to do this, because we can talk about something that we're not aware. So you can gain lots of awareness of your internal processes and heal very deep places through this work. This is, the first step is healing, right? My group doesn't meet on is heal, transform, empower. So we'll start with healing ourselves. So people have like even like healing some physical issues. If you have certain physical challenges that might be connected to the psychosomatic processes, because even now it's proven scientifically that our emotional health directly connected to our physical health, and if we suppress certain emotions, they can be manifested in our physical health and physical illnesses, right? So, like if you feel like you're a creative person and you're stuck and you can't go forward with your creative process, that can really accelerate that. So there are lots of reasons to try this work on, or you have like a spiritual crisis like I had, and finding out your life purpose, why you're here and what you're supposed to do on this planet. So it's breath of remembrance. Remember who you are. This is exactly what it is. So I highly recommend you to join our workshop and not to delay. We only have 6 spots available each time we do workshops. So RSVP on the meetup and register on my website. You can make a payment online, and I'll be so happy to meet you in person and hold space for you for your process. So the next workshop is on Sunday, this Sunday, October 15, from 3 to 6 p.m. So reserve your spot, and I hope to see you there. Bye-bye.